Hey everyone, this is Steli FT with Closeout, and in today's video I want to talk about what it takes for you to go from a sales rep to becoming a sales manager. I've written a really long blog post. You can find it in the description of the video with the 7 steps you need to take to go from sales rep to sales manager and land a top sales manager job. But the one advice that I want to give you right now and right here, the most important piece of advice that I have is that, well, let me first tell you a little story about my brother when he was 8. All right, so when my brother was 8, he was incredibly introverted. He was a very quiet child. And one aunt one day asked him, "Hey Nick, you're 8 years old. Do you already have your first girlfriend?" And he kind of looked down and said, "No, I don't have one girlfriend. I have 3 girlfriends." And everybody in the room laughed, especially my aunt. And she was like, "Wow, look at you, playboy, 3 girlfriends, that's crazy." And she started asking me some funny questions around that. And my mom was curiously looking over and thinking, this doesn't quite make a lot of sense. So she asked him, "Hey, honey, do these girls know that they're your girlfriends?" And my brother looked down and went, "No." And there's a lesson to be learned here, right? If you want to move from sales rep to sales manager, the first thing you have to do, the first step you have to take, other than the desire that you right now feel, the aspiration to get there, is that you have to make a mind shift. In your mind, you have to shift from being just purely a sales rep to acting as if you're already a sales manager, irregardless if you have that responsibility and job or not. It's actually much better to start thinking that you're a sales manager, acting like you're a sales manager, practicing and building up the skill sets that you're going to need as a sales manager ahead of time before you get into that position and have all the responsibility and have to do learning on the job as most sales reps have. If you're really good at sales, if you learn and master the fundamental basics of sales, and you now feel like there's much more in you, you could lead a team, you could build a team, you could teach others what you know. You have to realize that just being good at sales and being good as a sales manager are 2 very, very different skill sets. As a manager, you're going to have to develop a completely different skill set. And the earlier you start practicing, the better you're going to get, and the faster you're going to get there in the real world, right? With other people also knowing that you're the sales manager. Now, I don't mean you walking into the room now and barking at people what they have to do, and pretending that you're some super important person, having an ego boost. Although a lot of sales reps, once they get the official title, that's exactly what they do. They walk around, they pretend that now they're the big boss. They act like the things they saw on television or they think they read in some blog post, and they quickly realize that it's not going that well. And people have kind of this response. I mean, we've all had that, a bad manager, somebody that had responsibility but didn't earn it, wasn't humble, wasn't there for us, wasn't giving, trying to empower us, trying to help us, but was in it for themselves, for their ego, feeling important, not wanting to get their hands dirty anymore, not wanting to do the real work anymore, and just telling others what to do. That will never work. And a lot of people, a lot of reps have to go through that experience first before they learn how to become good leaders and good managers. That's not what I mean. What I mean by saying that you should act as if you were a manager even before you are is that I want you to, start asking yourself, well, if I was responsible not just for my own quota, not just for me killing it and closing deals and driving revenue and hitting my goals, but if I also was responsible for other people on my team, what could I do? What could be one thing I start doing today, every week, every month that can help others? And the easiest thing often is to become a coach or a mentor, become a resource for your team, right? Maybe you pick up the new person on the team and you make it your own responsibility, not saying it out loud, not telling people, I'm going to take responsibility for Bob or Mary, but just going to Bob or Mary or whoever is the new rep on the team and saying, hey, I've been in your position. I joined 2 years ago. I know it can be challenging. I want to be a resource for you. Let me know whenever I can do anything to help. And then observing them and giving them pointers, sharing resources with them, letting them join a closing deal that you have, or if they're working on a deal and they're struggling, taking the extra time once you've done your work and offering that you're going to coach them and help them through their deal, or help them get the first appointment, or when they're negotiating to close their first customer, be there for them and be a resource to help them make that happen. Now, I know that they probably already have a manager that does a bunch, but in every growing sales organization, there's just always too little time for coaching, mentorship, training, and nobody is going to be upset about you voluntarily and without claiming any credit, without asking for anything in return, helping somebody and help somebody grow. You can learn a lot through starting to teach others what you know. Teach them the basics of sales, teach them the product, teach them how to negotiate, advise them on their career, learn what does it take to help somebody, what does it take to speak a language that the other person can understand, what does it take to give advice that is practical and tactical and people can put into practice immediately. Start reading more information about it. Start just acting as if you were responsible, and start also seeing your sales manager, if you have one that's really good, start asking more questions about the management side of things and the management skill set that they had to build and the experience that they had to take, the things that to learn and books they would recommend and workshop or courses that would recommend. And tell them eventually, after you've done this a little bit of practice virtually and in your mind, start telling them, hey, I started kind of mentoring and coaching a few people on the team. It seems like they're enjoying it and they see some results. I surely am enjoying it. I'm seeing a lot of growth. How can I do more of this? How can I learn more about helping others? How can I take more responsibility on the team? No sales manager will always be like, what is wrong with this person? Why do they want more responsibility? We all love people that are proactive and take responsibility and want to help others. Now, a big caveat is, again, you don't make the switch 360 fully, right? You don't just stop closing your own deals, making your own prospecting because in your head, I'm now a sales manager. Don't have to close deals anymore. No, you do the hard but important and fundamental thing of doing your work, putting in the work, performing at peak in your job, and starting kind of in your mind, a second job, part-time job, which is being a manager without getting the credit, the payment, or the official recognition for it. But you're taking the actions and you're learning, in an environment that's safe, where you don't have to have all responsibility, where these people are still managed by somebody that's much more experienced than you and is hopefully doing a good job. So you can learn in a really safe environment. Then once you've done this a little bit and proven yourself to yourself at least, you can announce it slightly, but not in a way that says, hey, I want to be the manager of these people. How can I be the manager? Just say, I've started helping others. I see that creates results within the team. I'm enjoying it. How can I take on more responsibility here? How can I help more than just closing deals? And if you have a good manager, they're going to start giving you a lot of ideas. They're going to see the potential in you, start investing in you. And if you ask yourself, what is the next step that I have to do? What are all the things I have to do? We've written a blog post for you. The 7 steps, everything you need to know, a blueprint that will take you from good sales rep to great sales manager. And if you're in a position or in a company where you can't be hired as a manager, we're going to tell you and teach you everything you need to do to find a great sales manager job. All you have to do is look at the link in the description of this video, or just go to blog.close.io/become-sales-manager, and you'll get the blueprint. You'll get everything you need to know to go from where you are to where you want to be. I wish you nothing but success. If you want a mentor, or you want help, in the meanwhile, you can always reach out to me at stelly@close.io. And until then, let's go get them.